Hello once again, everyone, and welcome back to Getting More Out of Capoferro. Joining me once again is Jacob, and today we're going to be tackling plate number 13. This is where we get introduced to a circular parry, and also the idea of kind of more of what will come later in regards to linear fencing. This is almost like a little look into what things will become in the future, kind of. Certainly by like the time of the road rapier or small sword, you see actions a lot more like this. But what's going to happen is, firstly, to our positioning. Jacob is going to be going into quarta, I am going to be terza on the outside. Now the reason that Jacob is moving into this is what he's essentially doing is he's giving me something beneficial. From my perspective, his quarta is still pointed at me, so I do need to deal with it, but in particular, because he's turned upward, dealing with it is a good thing for me. If I can get that found, in fact, I can even just go ahead and glide straight into it, and odds are I will be safe. So this is very much him making that quick opening. I go to make that touch, and what his objective here is when I find his sword, he will perform a tight cavazione and hit me without needing to change his guard at all. This is a very, very fast action to land. In fact, I'll land it once since you've got the protection on. So I give him a target, he goes to touch it, hop, boom. Just right along the inside of the arm. No muss, no fuss, no coconuts. So, in response to this, especially because right now we're going to, and for the rest of this, we're going to do it in very tic-tac tempo. This is generally going to be the second I go for it, he's cavazioning and following in. As such, I am still usually in motion in the midst of this. And then this is where we get to the idea of this kind of parry riposte, or specifically the continuous action of the circular parry, or as Capoferro refers to it, the affrontare la spada. Basically, my sword's going to keep moving to do my action. So I go to touch, he cavaziones, I'm going to draw a circle around back into where we originally were. Now, you'll notice that when we do this realistically, sometimes if I catch it quick enough, my arm will stay out like it did because he doesn't complete his lunge fully. Other times my arm will have to shorten. This is also what leads into our choice of riposte. So for example, I find it, he goes for the cavazione, I'm quick, I can stay out here, and I might have opportunity to target over his arm or what have you. However, given that he's doing such a fast motion, odds are you're going to have to slightly retract your secunda as you parry, just because of the speed, so go ahead and cavazione the second I go for it. Which gives me a wider line, which means now, by the time I were to go for his face, his guard will be up because he can turn the secunda or what have you. So instead, my target is going to be to wound below the sword, which is going to be much harder for him, nearly impossible for him to parry without implementing his left hand or traversing out to his left side. This range change really gives me a lot of security because, of course, the face is obvious. The face was obvious from the first time I found the blade. So that starts leading into this sort of rhythm. We're here, I go to touch. Oh, let's do that again. Sometimes those thrusting tips get caught. I go to touch, parry, extend. Let's go a couple times. Again, take your time. Here, pop, boom. Again, pop, boom. Again, pop, boom. Nice and straightforward. Now, to make it better, what I do is after I get my point on target, and should be known, he describes wounding below the sword and then a pass with the hand to secure things. I'm basically going to be hitting him when he's in profile. You don't have to hit on the pass. You can, certainly. But generally speaking, especially because our swords don't go into target, I like to plant it first and then move up against him to make sure he can do nothing to me. So I'll talk my way through that on this side, then we'll switch sides and I'll show it. So, I find his blade, he cavaziones, I do my parry, I extend and I get my target, perhaps even doing a small accrescimento. Then, once I start feeling that touch, and certainly as he starts recovering or doing whatever he's going to do, fall into the hole with the left foot, keeping the pressure with the right hand, and that's what's going to allow you to secure his sword so he can do nothing with it. I can also keep this target open if I choose, or things along those lines. So, for example, I did this exact play when I was doing a sword versus dagger fight. He had a dagger, I didn't have a dagger, and being able to keep that target area open so I could get around his dagger parry was really nice. But, I digress. I'll talk my way through it on the side one more time. I find, he goes through, parry, touch, good. So, now we switch sides and we'll start showing those progressively more and more realistically. Find, parry, touch, go. there. And that's why I don't like to try and pass immediately, is while I got my tip on target, because it can't seek purchase the same way a sharp would, you find it can sometimes slide off, and certainly if you're fighting under judge conditions, that can be obnoxious. Versus that's a lot more certain, and worst comes to worst, if he is super fast on the recovery, I don't even need to chase after him. This is just extra security. Once more. Nice and secure. So, that is plate number 13. It's kind of the same idea as what we did last time, except rather than being over the sword reinforcing it, we're under the sword reinforcing it, which just makes life great, great, and wonderful. But that idea of boom, boom is one that we're going to see a lot more of as you continue on into later period sources, and you'll even see it still done to modern day. So, thank you very much, Jacob. Thank you all very much for watching. Next time we will go over plate number 14, which is a longer plate, so we'll see how many actions we do there. But otherwise, thank you very, very much for watching. We'll go over some other techniques another time.